The sharp sound of Shen's whistle echoed over the sky above the mountain for a long while. Master Haru exchanged a terrified look with Lord Fang. Don't tell me he is going to call him. Who? Yuko, who was hiding behind them, was confused. Before anyone could answer his question, a powerful Q energy awoke. It must have come from the deep inside of the mountain. When this Q energy was awoken, a few hundred miles away from the mountain, a beautiful woman stopped as she was flying through the sky above an endless green field. She turned around mid-air and looked into the far horizon. Who did wake up my master? The disciples felt awe in their hearts and took deep bows to the spot where the Q energy seemed to come from. So did the elders. Lady Yan also took a bow and kept her eyes fixated on the mountain. I am familiar with this presence. The Ice Emperor was also familiar with this Q energy. He suddenly paused mid-air and turned towards the mountain. I can't believe this. I thought he was dead. Who did you think was dead? Xavier furrowed his brows. Wait, don't tell me you're talking about the former leader of the faction of the Misty Clouds, the guy you've warned me about back at the inn? The Ice Emperor slowly nodded his head. Sensing this Q energy, he must have had a breakthrough. This is the Q energy of a warlord. Xavier was stunned. A warlord? Are you serious? I've never met anyone that was above the level of a high-level Q-master. From everything I have heard, the difference in power between a warlord and a high-level Q-master is enormous. It should be possible for a warlord to fight 3 high-level Q-masters without a problem, right? I am afraid so, the Ice Emperor whispered. This was the first time Xavier saw genuine fear in the Ice Emperor's expression. He could not help but feel bad for getting him into this mess. Look, I would not blame you if you want to flee without me, he uttered. The Ice Emperor was silent for a moment. With a deep sigh and a lot of hesitation, he shook his head. No. Although I appreciate your offer, I agreed with this. I have to finish what I have started. Even if Grandmaster Shan Yun wants to stop us himself, I will try to bring you to safety. I promised I would. A warm feeling spread in Xavier's heart. He did not expect the old Ice Emperor to be so dedicated to this. Perhaps he just wants to keep me safe because of the pill I offered him, but this does not matter. Despite everything, he still sticks to me. That makes him better than most people. Xavier smiled faintly and said, Thank you. I will remember your help and return this favor in the future. We can talk about the future in the future. Right now, we need to make sure to make it out of here alive. This is going to be difficult enough. The Ice Emperor glanced at the floating rainbow-devouring python that followed close behind. He then looked at Ling, who was fighting a short distance away. Silently, the Ice Emperor calculated how much strength they would have combined. Suddenly, a white figure erupted from the peak of the mountain and shot high into the sky. A clear howl could be heard on the entire mountain. This white figure floated towards the field of the faction of the Misty Clouds below. This white figure did not summon Q-energy wings. Instead, they seemed to walk through the air. Each time a footstep landed, a Q-energy ripple formed in the air. Within seconds, they appeared over the field and stopped on top of the large stone monument. His cold gaze swept across the mess on the ground. He furrowed his thin brows. Xavier and the Ice Emperor did not manage to flee yet. They were still close by. Xavier sighed. Couldn't we have escaped by now if we wouldn't have stopped? The Ice Emperor shook his head. I told you, this is a warlord. There is no way I could escape from someone so powerful. Even if we would be miles ahead, he would catch us in no time. Did you see how fast he moved as he walked through the air? Xavier swallowed heavily and nodded. He thought as much, but part of him was hoping to be wrong. He kept his eyes fixated on the previous leader of the faction of the Misty Clouds. The man was wearing a very plain-looking white robe. As the gentle wind brushed past him, the long robe fluttered, giving him a ghost-like appearance. Why does he look so young? He must be much, much older than you, right? Pointed Xavier. The Ice Emperor nodded. I imagine his appearance turned younger as he reached the level of a warlord. Those must be one of the benefits of reaching such a level. The Ice Emperor could not hide the envy in his voice as he said this. The former leader of the faction turned towards his first elder. First Elder Shen, you better have a good explanation as to why you dared to wake me up. As I have told everyone, I do not want anyone to interrupt my training time unless our faction is in grave danger. The First Elder Shen fell on his knees. Grandmaster Shan Yun, I apologize, but our faction and its reputation are in grave danger. Grandmaster Shan Yun frowned. Where is the leader of the faction, Junie? The First Elder trembled. He raised his head. She has gone out. We don't know when she will return. Very well. Then tell me what happened. In all these years, I have never seen the field of our faction being in such an awful state. Grandmaster Shan Yun gave the First Elder an angry glare. It was clear that he blamed the First Elder for this mess. The Elder pointed his trembling finger at Xavier, who was floating not too far away. Grandmaster Shan Yun, this mess has been caused by him. It is all his doing. This young man named Xavier showed up for an arrangement with Lady Yan Nalan. He is from the Shao clan in Wutan City. After settling the agreement with Lady Yan, we had reason to believe that this young man must have murdered one of the faction's external deacons. The person he murdered was an elder from the Clan of the Moons. His name was Chang Moon. He has been a close ally to our faction for many years, and he was brutally murdered on his own birthday celebrations. I demanded that this young man stays here while we investigate the murder of our friend. He refused and began a fight instead of cooperating. We tried to take control of the situation, but he has gone completely crazy and threatened to murder us all for no reason. Xavier could not help but let out an annoyed groan as he heard all of this. What a lying bastard. He really tries to make as many things up as possible to make me look bad, and he does not even mention the part where Chang Moon kidnaps little girls to steal their body parts. Did he just conveniently forget about this? What an asshole. The First Elder kept talking and talking. While doing so, he gestured dramatically. I understand that Chang Moon was only a deacon, and not a member of high rank, but he has been accommodating, and his influence was great. He had many powerful friends, who also became our friends. If we would allow him to get murdered without avenging him, we would lose many powerful friends we have made thanks to him. All we asked Xavier was to stay behind for a short period of time to investigate. If he would have been innocent, I, the First Elder, would have personally apologized and bowed in front of him. However, he ignored my request and attacked us all like a wild beast. And although his strength is nothing extraordinary, he had a number of powerful henchmen that showed up. Namely, 2 high-level Q-Masters and a level 5 monster. I am afraid our faction cannot defend itself against them without your help. Xavier crossed his arms in front of his chest and rolled his eyes. His eyes pierced through the First Elder Shen. It won't be of much use to explain what actually happened. There's no way this Grandmaster is going to believe me after hearing this dramatic speech of the Elder. The face of Grandmaster Shan Yun did not change. His cold eyes kept looking over the mess. How unexpected. Such a small matter causing such an enormous mess in our faction. Even Master Haru and Lord Fang showed up. Master Haru waved towards Grandmaster Shan Yun with a smile. Lord Fang did the same, and then yelled, There is someone else here that I am sure you remember. Lord Fang pointed at the space next to Xavier. Grandmaster Shan Yun looked over to the space and suddenly laughed. I Bing, the Ice Emperor. I thought I had sensed your Q energy as I awoke. It has been many years, hasn't it? I thought the terrible Queen Medusa killed you. The Ice Emperor laughed awkwardly. I'm not that easy to get rid of. And apparently, you are not easy to get rid of either, old man. So you had the breakthrough and reached the level of a warlord. That is incredible. How old are you now? You must be at least 200 years old, or not. The Ice Emperor moved forwards. Coincidentally, Xavier was now behind him, so that Grandmaster Shan Yun did not see him anymore. Grandmaster Shan Yun raised an eyebrow, and moved slightly to the right to see Xavier again. I am afraid I am not here to chat with you, Hai. This is the young man named Xavier of the Shao clan, correct? Xavier felt his heart skip a beat. He took a bow mid-air. I pay you my respect, Grandmaster Shan Yun. The former leader nodded. Your manners are not too bad. And you certainly don't look like a wild beast either. Unfortunately, you are quite weak. Oh, don't be so harsh on him. He is still a teenager, and already a she-master. He has a lot of potential. The Ice Emperor interrupted Grandmaster Shan Yun. Suddenly, a flash of surprise spread over Grandmaster Shan Yun's indifferent face. A teenage chi-master? How astonishing. And what do you have to say for yourself after causing such a mess in my faction?" Xavier laughed bitterly. "Would it matter what I'm going to say? The First Elder Shen already gave his dramatic speech of how I attacked everyone like a savage beast." Grandmaster Shan Yun shook his head softly. "I have known the First Elder for many years, and I know he has a tendency to bend the truth at times. Regardless, you must have had some part in all of this, or not." "Well, yes, but it is not—" "That does not matter." Grandmaster Shan Yun interrupted Xavier abruptly. Xavier did not expect anything else, yet it left a bitter taste in his mouth. "Young man Xavier, you have caused a lot of trouble for our faction. I'm afraid I cannot let you stay, or leave. We, the faction of the Misty Clouds, must fight for our reputation, and since the few of you have caused this trouble, I have no choice but to fight you." Ling flew in front of Xavier. "I did not expect this weak faction to have someone that is on the level of a warlord amongst them. This is really surprising. Unfortunately for him, he is nowhere near the level of their founder." He chuckled a bit as he looked at Grandmaster Shan Yun, who raised his body higher into the air. "You are not from the Empire of the Heavens, are you? Which faction do you belong to? Although I have been in seclusion for a very long time, I still do know a thing or two about the factions in the other empires on the continent of the heavens," asked Grandmaster Shan Yun. "I'm afraid I cannot tell you where I am from, and I would advise you to be cautious. You cannot run around and do whatever you want just because you are now on the level of a warlord. If you hurt Xavier, you will regret it," replied Ling. Grandmaster Shan Yun furrowed his brows at Ling's words. "Is this a threat?" "It sure is." Ling did not look as if he was intimidated by Grandmaster Shan Yun. "Very well." Grandmaster Shan Yun waved his hand, and his body rose higher into the air. Constant energy ripples formed around him. The Ice Emperor's face was grave as he watched this. He and Ling exchanged a few glances. The Ice Emperor then moved closer to Xavier and whispered, "You should stay close to your pet. I am sure it will keep protecting you. Meanwhile, Ling and I will take care of Grandmaster Shan Yun." Xavier hesitated for a moment. After realizing he had no other choice, he sighed and nodded. "Please be careful." He then turned his head to Ling. "There was something I wanted to ask you," he added. Ling raised a warning finger. "Don't ask anything yet. Once you leave the faction of the Misty Clouds, I will leave the Empire of the Heavens. Everything will be explained afterward. Don't worry." Xavier smiled. "I understand." Immediately, he flapped his wings and withdrew. Lord Fang shook his head as he watched the scene play out in the distance. "I can't believe they disturbed the old Shan Yun for this. Did you think that there would be so much drama today?" He turned to Master Haru. Master Haru shook his head. "No, and I did not think that Shan Yun broke through to the level of a warlord either. I cannot help but be jealous. He looks a lot younger, doesn't he?" Lord Fang nodded. "What do you think? Do you believe that this stranger and Hai can defeat Shan Yun?" Master Haru shrugged. "Only with a lot of effort and luck, I guess." Meanwhile, the First Elder watched Grandmaster Shan Yun rise to the sky. A dark spark was in his eyes. Grandmaster Shan Yun looked at the Ice Emperor. Since I know and respect you, I will not take your earlier actions into account." The Ice Emperor sighed. "It's a bit late for that now, isn't it? Just get this over with." He waved his hands, and icy Q energy surged from his body. Immediately, the temperature over the field fell by several degrees. He twisted his hand, and suddenly, more than 10 circular ice blades appeared. Ling's expression next to him turned serious. He waved his hands, and a strange black shadow was emitted beneath his feet. A moment later, it formed into another large lance, this time even larger than the one before. Ling waved his hand again, and the Q energy lance moved into his hand. Around its tip, Q energy ripples formed. The Ice Emperor pushed his hands forward, and the 10 ice blades cut through the air, aiming at Grandmaster Shan Yun. "You need to go, now!" The Ice Emperor yelled toward Xavier. In the meantime, Ling shot his lance toward Grandmaster Shan Yun. The lance and the ice blades shot toward Grandmaster Shan Yun at lightning speed. Xavier immediately reacted. He flapped his wings and flew towards the giant rainbow-devouring python. Without wasting time, he sat on its enormous head and urged it to move. With one smooth turn, the giant snake turned around and rushed away. Grandmaster Shan Yun shook his head. He lifted both his hands and aimed the open palm at the lance and the ice blades that were shooting toward him. Wind Wall! As Grandmaster Shan Yun's voice echoed through the air, a gust of green Q-energy wind appeared. Quickly, it formed a gigantic wall. It spanned over half the sky. The ice blades and the lance crashed into the Q-energy wind wall. They incinerated with a loud bang. The green wind wall was left without a scratch. The faces of the Ice Emperor and Ling turned sour as they saw this. Meanwhile, Grandmaster Shan Yun glanced towards the giant snake that was flying away with Xavier. He waved his hands, and suddenly the wind wall moved in front of the snake. It caught the giant snake off guard. It tried to stop as quickly as it could to prevent itself from crashing into the wall that appeared in front of it. 10,000 winds! Grandmaster Shan Yun cried out. He clenched his hand into a fist and threw a punch at the Ice Emperor and Ling. Immediately, ropes of wind appeared. The ropes entangled with each other in the air. Within the blink of an eye, they tied the Ice Emperor and Ling up. The ropes moved so fast that the Ice Emperor and Ling had no time to react. As they were wrapped up, they tried to wriggle and move, but it did not help. Ling managed to break some ropes, but immediately more appeared to replace the damaged ones. Master Haru looked at this with awe. What an amazing attack! He chained up 2 high-level Q-masters without any effort. This is incredible. And terrifying. It looks like this is not going to be a long fight. Grandmaster Shan Yun looked back at the giant snake. It tried to find a way around the wind wall that blocked its path. Like a ghost, he suddenly appeared in front of the snake. The snake narrowed its eyes and opened its mouth. Suddenly, a potent poison shot towards Grandmaster Shan Yun. Grandmaster Shan Yun waved his hands, and another green Q-energy wind wall appeared in front of him. As the poison hit the wind, it disappeared instantly. The snake prepared to attack again. It hurled its tail around. A powerful Q-energy surged around it. However, Grandmaster Shan Yun kicked against its body before the tail reached him. The snake let out a shrill hiss. The kick caused it a lot of pain and was powerful enough to cause it to fall onto the hard ground below. The kick was so strong that the Q-energy coming from it hurt Xavier as well. Some blood came out of his mouth. Xavier rolled down from the snake's head and wiped the blood off. Turning his head, he looked carefully at the snake. Its eyes were dimming. A gentle breeze swept over the field, and Grandmaster Shan Yun appeared mid-air in front of Xavier. Your friends have been defeated. You have lost. Xavier's face twitched. He coughed a few times and unsheathed the broadsword ruler from his back. They might have been defeated, but I am still standing, he replied. Grandmaster Shan Yun landed in front of him. He looked at Xavier with disbelief. As Grandmaster Shan Yun stepped closer, the snake tried to make itself even bigger and scare him away. Grandmaster Shan Yun was not impressed. That is no ordinary level 5 monster, is it? His eyes met the red eyes of the snake. Once more, the snake spat out some poison. This time, however, Grandmaster Shan Yun did not attempt to dodge. As the poison hit him, it did not hurt him at all. Not even his white robe was damaged. He took another few steps toward Xavier. The poison dripped off his robe. Not even a stain was left behind. Xavier tried to brace himself for an attack, but suddenly was unable to move. He gritted his teeth and tried to do anything, but it was impossible. Grandmaster Shan Yun smirked. Is it getting difficult to move? Don't worry. Just stop resisting. I will not harm you if you agree to my offer. All I am asking for is for you to stay at the faction of the Misty Clouds for half a year, and make up for your rash actions. The giant snake tried to bite Grandmaster Shan Yun. However, one slap was enough to make the snake back off. Grandmaster Shan Yun then moved his palms toward Xavier. Once more, Xavier tried to move, but it did not work. He felt his skin crawl. His heart was racing. Grandmaster Shan Yun's hand came closer. Suddenly, a powerful Q-energy appeared. It flashed up like lightning. As quickly as it came, it disappeared again. Hopelessness spread through Xavier's heart. The rainbow-devouring python hissed again. It raised its head to the sky. A powerful light shot upwards from it. A moment later, the snake shot into the sky as well in a beam of light. Everyone who noticed this also looked upwards to the sky. Grandmaster Shan Yun frowned as he saw the beam of light. In this distant glow, suddenly appeared the figure of a beautiful woman. The beam of light disappeared slowly. Seconds later, the woman landed between Grandmaster Shan Yun and Xavier, and blocked his palms off with her own hands. The moment the two hands came into contact, the ground trembled. Q energy echoed through the air like thunder. "You old fool, do you wish me to beat you up again?" Everyone stared at the beautiful woman that blocked Grandmaster Shan Yun off. She stood between him and Xavier. Some of the people who recognized her gasped, including the Ice Emperor, who was still tied up by the Q energy ropes. He looked as if he was about to faint. "Queen Medusa?" Those two words caused everyone to shiver. Almost every person in the Empire of the Heavens was familiar with this name. They all heard legends of this alluring, vicious woman. She had killed countless soldiers during the War of the Snake People against the Empire. She was also the one who sealed the Ice Emperor's strength for decades. The old man trembled as he saw her again. "I would rather spend 10 years in a pit full of vipers than a day with her." Wait, so she was hiding in Xavier's sleeve all along? When did this happen? She must have joined while we were still in the Tag Desert. How did I not notice her presence? And this bastard did not even tell me about it? Does he want me to get killed? A shiver ran down the Ice Emperor's spine. Ling, who was also still wrapped up with the Q energy ropes and floating mid-air, was also impressed. Queen Medusa is following him as a pet. How terrifying. Although Xavier's strength is not that great yet, the people who are protecting him just keep getting stronger and stronger. I think he will be safe without me once all of this is over. Lord Fang and Master Haru also looked terrified. They were unable to utter a single word. The Pill King Lucian was shocked too, but for different reasons. What is she doing here? Didn't Queen Medusa fail to evolve? I thought she was dead. It looks like she did not fail, but was brought away by Xavier, without anyone noticing. Xavier is really bold for doing something so reckless. Queen Medusa could shred him apart without any effort. He is really lucky to still be alive. Yuko let out a bitter laugh. I don't think even the older people could keep up with that. Let alone me. I will never catch up with him. Master Yi, Master Wu, and the others also exchanged shocked looks. None of them knew how to react. Xavier swallowed heavily. Slowly he backed off. He glanced at Queen Medusa as he did so. Even he had to admire her beauty. Her body was wrapped up in a purple robe. Her black hair moved along her shoulders and fell all the way down to her butt before it stopped. Xavier was surprised to see that her snake's tail had transformed into 2 long human legs. They were floating about an inch above the ground. Grandmaster Shan Yun took a few steps back. Queen Medusa, I had no idea you were this gigantic snake. No wonder I felt a sort of familiar Q energy. Queen Medusa slowly took a step forwards. And I had no idea you reached the level of a warlord. I suppose some congratulations are in order. Grandmaster Shan Yun smiled. I should congratulate you as well for successfully evolving. However, I cannot help but be surprised that you would willingly help a human. I did not expect you to do something like that. The last time we met, you did not seem to like humans very much. Don't get the wrong idea. I do not care for humans, not even for this brat who saved my life. Personally, I would not care if he lives or dies. Queen Medusa glared at Grandmaster Shan Yun. Meanwhile, Xavier tightened his grip around the broadsword ruler and let some Q energy surge. He braced himself for any attack, no matter if it was Grandmaster Shan Yun or Queen Medusa who would attack. Grandmaster Shan Yun was unconcerned. Why did you bother to show up? Do you have any plan to save your friend? He is not my friend, but I am afraid I have to bring him to safety nonetheless. Queen Medusa did not look happy as she said this. Grandmaster Shan Yun furrowed his brows. He knew that Queen Medusa was not much weaker than him. If she would fight him, it would be difficult to tell who would win. Why are you so concerned about his safety if you don't care if he lives or dies? If I don't bring him to safety, that little fellow will get mad at me. I am only able to come out and take on my true form because he allowed me to do so. A brief, helpless look appeared on her face. Xavier had no idea what little fellow she was talking about, but Grandmaster Shan Yun appeared to understand. He frowned deeply. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking about. He seemed to hesitate for a moment. Meanwhile, the elders got impatient. They did not want Xavier to leave the faction of the Misty Clouds, after they had fought against him for so long. At some point, the first elder Shen could not stand still and be quiet any longer. Grandmaster Shan Yang, we cannot allow Xavier to leave. Our reputation would be ruined. Fool, Queen Medusa murmured. She turned her head and glared at the first elder with her bewitching eyes. Sensing Queen Medusa staring at him, the first elder Shen felt how his knees turned weak. He wanted to back off. Suddenly, he felt how the rock beneath his feet began to grow upwards along his legs. Stop it, Grandmaster Shan Yun called out. He kicked against the growing rock around the elder's feet, and it shattered instantly. Cold sweat was running down the elder's forehead. He quickly hid behind Grandmaster Shan Yun and stopped talking. I am afraid our faction could lose much more than just reputation if we keep fighting. Take him and leave. Grandmaster Shan Yun eventually caved. But Grandmaster Shan Yun, if we... Shut your mouth, you old fool. Grandmaster Shan Yun's face turned red with anger as the first elder tried to interfere again. I am sick and tired of you trying to speak on behalf of our faction. We will have a chat about this later. Anyway, I have also heard about the 3-year agreement between Xavier and the young Miss Yan Nalan. It was a reckless and dumb idea to begin with. I hope she has learned her lesson. All of this mess has been caused because of this. However, the agreement is over, and I don't want to drag this on forever. Xavier, if you dare to step foot into our faction again, I will fight you, even with this pet of yours protecting you. Are we clear? Xavier hurriedly nodded. I promise I won't show up again. Being here once has been more than enough. He took a polite bow. Grandmaster Shan Yun waved it off with a grumpy look on his face. Get lost already. Xavier nodded. He let his eyes wander over the crowd. They stopped for a moment as they met Lady Yan Nalan's eyes. As she noticed, she flushed red. Is she embarrassed because she had lost? Oh well, who cares? I need to leave. Xavier waited for Queen Medusa to lead the way and followed her under countless stunned looks. As Queen Medusa and Xavier walked off, Grandmaster Shan Yun waved his hands. The Q energy around the Ice Emperor and Ling disappeared. The Ice Emperor quickly flapped his wings to stay afloat. Finally, all of this is over. The Ice Emperor stretched his aching body. Grandmaster Shan Yun then turned towards the crowd. I am sorry we have to end it like this, but it cannot be helped. The guests laughed a bit. Don't worry, Grandmaster Shan Yun. We won't stay around for much longer. We imagine you must have a lot of cleaning up to do. We will come to visit in the future if we can. Master Yi smiled and said his farewell. The other guests followed him. They knew it would not be wise to stay. The first elder Shen was not happy. Once more, he tried to talk to the Grand Master. So we are just going to allow him to leave? He has turned our faction upside down. Just look at this mess. It is humiliating. Yes, it has been indeed humiliating. Grandmaster Shan Yun glared at the first elder. What do you suggest we should do? Don't act as if you had no hand in causing this mess. Moreover, not even I have the courage to fight against Queen Medusa and 2 high-level Q masters. Fighting those people is clearly not worth it. Besides, we don't even know if he murdered Chang Moon. The first elder Shen shook his head quickly. I've seen the way he acted. I guarantee you he murdered him. If we won't avenge Chang Moon, don't you think our faction is ruined? Not to mention, once word would spread about a teenager who caused such a mess in our faction, we will never hear the end of it. It would be disastrous for our reputation. Then what do you plan to do? Asked Grandmaster Shan Yun. Well, since he does not want to stay, why don't we make him show up again? We could invite his father over if you understand what I mean. His father is a chief in Wutan City. He is the chief of the Xiao clan. A menacing smile flashed over the First Elder's face. Grandmaster Shan Yun's face turned dark. You foolish old idiot. The blow to your head really must have caused you some brain damage if you think this would be a good idea. Do you want to kidnap his father to lure him back to avenge some low-ranking deacon? Do you also want to run into Queen Medusa and his other henchmen again? This is clearly not worth the trouble. I don't want to hear about any of your ideas again. He waved his hands and turned around. He then ordered some of the disciples to help him clean up the mess. The First Elder was left behind with a sour expression. This is not over yet. Perhaps Grandmaster Shan Yun won't allow me to get rid of this annoying bastard, but I will find a way. Once the Grand Master goes back to sleep, I will make sure to avenge Changmoon and save the faction's reputation. Not long after Xavier and the others left, a rushing wind appeared in the sky. Moments later, a graceful woman appeared. Her eyes swept over the mess on the field, and her heart sank. What happened here? Master! Master! Lady Yan was the first one who saw the woman appear. She cried out for her. Tears formed in her eyes. Calm down now, Yan. Tell me what happened. The woman landed next to Lady Yan and brushed over her hair. If Xavier had stayed for a few minutes longer, he would have been shocked to see her. After all, he spent a lot of time with her, back when they were living together in the mountain range of the monsters. Xavier followed her close behind. Above them were the Ice Emperor and Ling. A tense silence was between all of them. At some point, Queen Medusa stopped walking. She brushed a strand of hair away from her forehead. She stopped in the middle of a pathway. They were already near the foot of the mountain. One could see the capital in the distance. On each side of the pathway were green grass and green bushes. The sky above them was a clear blue. Not a single cloud was in sight. Queen Medusa raised her head. Are the two of you not tired of flying? The Ice Emperor and Ling stopped simultaneously. They exchanged a look and landed on a tree not too far behind Xavier. Xavier turned towards the Ice Emperor. Hi, what are your plans for now? I still haven't gathered all the necessary ingredients for the purple recovery pill that I promised you. The Ice Emperor frowned slightly. He looked over to Queen Medusa. It was impossible for him to hide his fear. Look, I don't think you will need me, now that the 3-year agreement is over. As for the purple recovery pill, how about you just gather the ingredients and bring them to me or send them to me as soon as you can? I trust you. I don't think you would not live up to your end of the bargain. Xavier smiled. Of course. I promised to refine the pill for you after all. Where can I find you? I will be in the capital. You can find me at the headquarters of the Premier family. I still have my old living quarters there. The Ice Emperor smiled as he remembered this. Oh, and please remember to be cautious when it comes to Queen Medusa. I am not sure what sort of relationship you have with her, but her viciousness is far from what you can imagine. Keep your guard up. Xavier nodded slightly. Afterward, the Ice Emperor said goodbye and flew away. Xavier then turned towards Ling. And you? Ling let out a chuckle. According to my orders, my mission here is fulfilled. I won't bother you any longer. Honestly, I am very impressed. Not everyone could make 2 high-level Q-Masters and Queen Medusa stay around, especially not someone who is only on the level of a She-Master. That is really incredible. Anyway, I wish you good luck in the future. Perhaps we'll meet again. If we do so, I will invite you to some drinks. That sounds nice. Thank you. Xavier laughed. Ling was about to fly off when he suddenly paused and added, Maybe there is something else I should mention. The continent of the heavens is very big, much bigger than you can imagine. This empire is only a small part of it, like a drop of water in a vast ocean. You better hurry up and become more powerful. Otherwise, you will never be allowed to be with the person you love. Xavier wanted to ask something, but Ling raised a finger. You will know what I mean in the future. Don't worry. As of now, I have other missions to take care of, so I can't stay around to chat. Take care. Ling's body turned into a shadow, and he swiftly disappeared into the horizon. Xavier watched after him and sighed. I guess I'm all alone again. It's too bad. I got used to having someone around. All right, are you done with your goodbyes now? Queen Medusa questioned. Xavier turned around as he heard Queen Medusa behind him. As he saw her still standing there, He furrowed his brows. Are you not going to transform back into a snake? Transform back? Who said I am going to transform back? She let out a chuckle. Wait, so you've completely assimilated with the soul of the rainbow-devouring python? Xavier was at a loss. He felt how his body got tense. Queen Medusa glanced at him. This small change in his body did not escape her notice. She straightened up. A faint smile was on her lips. Since I had to transform to rescue you, that little fellow will not appear for another 3 days. Xavier let out a bitter laugh. Oh, so that means you'll follow me around in your human form for the next 3 days? Don't get any funny ideas. That would cost you your life. Queen Medusa took a few steps towards him. Suddenly, she stretched out her hand. Do you intend to hand it over, or do I have to take it by force? Hand what over? Xavier asked. Queen Medusa rolled her eyes. The formula, you idiot. The formula for the pill that I told you to get. Oh, of course. Xavier suddenly remembered. He tapped on his storage ring, and the formula for the spirit pill. Queen Medusa ripped it out from his hand. Impatience was on her face. She opened the scroll and looked at it. She was beaming with joy as she read it. Moments later, she rolled the formula back up. Have you already read the formula? Yes, Xavier answered. Then can you refine it? Queen Medusa's breathing got heavier. Xavier bit his lips. I'm not even a level 4 alchemist. This pill is a level 6 pill. I'm afraid I can't refine it yet. Queen Medusa huffed. She gave Xavier an irritated look. Do you take me for a fool? Although my soul was suppressed by the rainbow-devouring python, I did hear and see what was going on around me. I did hear you and the Ice Emperor talk about breaking the seal I placed on him. That pill that broke the seal was apparently a level 6 pill, and you were the one who refined it, or not. So why can you refine a level 6 pill for him, but not for me? Xavier swallowed heavily. He knew that he could not tell Queen Medusa that the pill was not refined by him, but by his master Lao, who was still recovering. All right, I will refine you this pill, but what will I get as payment for it? Payment? Queen Medusa let out a high-pitched laugh. As a payment, I am not going to kill you. How does that sound? Xavier smirked. He took back the formula from Queen Medusa's hand and placed it into his storage ring. If that's the case, then you can forget about it. Queen Medusa's expression darkened. Suddenly, a rainbow-colored Q energy wrapped around her hand. Do you think you are in any position to discuss terms with me? She hissed. Xavier only shrugged. If you wanted to kill me, then the rainbow-devouring python would attack you, or not. Do you think you have a chance against her? You are not yet at your full power, and the rainbow-devouring python is a level 5 monster. Besides, can you afford to kill me? What alchemist do you think would agree to refine a level 6 pill for you? Queen Medusa crossed her arms in front of her chest. The rainbow-colored Q energy disappeared. You think you're so clever by using the rainbow-devouring python against me. You bloody annoying brat. Xavier relaxed a bit. Look, I'm not someone who cares for large amounts of gold or other wealth, but you can't expect me to refine a level 6 pill without any sort of payment. Do you have any idea how tiring it is to refine a level 6 pill? Not to mention how hard it is to find the necessary ingredients. Quit beating around the bush. Tell me what you want already. Queen Medusa gritted her teeth. All right. You see, now that the Ice Emperor and Ling are gone, I don't feel very safe anymore. Xavier let out an awkward laugh and rubbed the back of his head. As long as you promise to protect me for 3 years, I will help you to refine the level 6 spirit pill. Queen Medusa gasped. Protecting you? For 3 years? Getting killed by the rainbow-devouring python sounds more pleasant than that. That is a shame. So there's nothing left to discuss then? Xavier raised an eyebrow. Queen Medusa sighed. All right, never mind. I am not as dumb as the Ice Emperor. I will protect you for 1 year, but no longer than that. During this 1 year, I will come out and protect you when you are in a life-or-death situation. I will not come out to fight for you. After all, I am a queen, not a mercenary. By the end of this year, I want the level 6 spirit pill. If you do not have it refined by then, I will kill you on the spot. Do you agree or not? Xavier thought for a while. He figured she would try and negotiate. After a few moments, he nodded. All right, I agree to your conditions. Queen Medusa's expression turned softer. Very well. Where do you plan to go next? Xavier thought for a while after Queen Medusa asked him where he was headed to next. I think I will head to Wutan City first. Afterwards, I might leave the Empire of the Heavens for a while. Ling said the continent of the heavens is very big, and the Empire of the Heavens is only a small part of it. That intrigued me. I want to see just how big the continent of the heavens really is. Leaving the Empire of the Heavens? Queen Medusa frowned slightly upon hearing this. Well, this decision is up to you in the end. I'm sure my people will be fine without me being nearby for a year, but remember, I will only follow you and protect you for 1 year, and I demand the spirit pill by the end of this year. Otherwise... Queen Medusa moved her hand across her throat, threatening Xavier. Yes, I understand. You'll kill me on the spot. I already promised you I will help you get the spirit pill, didn't I? Xavier sighed. He had a feeling that this was going to be a long year. Let us continue. I want to get away from this mountain as soon as possible. Why are you in such a hurry? The faction let you go. They are not chasing after you. Anyway, I will help you to look for some of the ingredients that you will need for the spirit pill when we pass any cities, pointed Queen Medusa. Xavier nodded. I guess I don't have any say in this, do I? At least cover your face when we enter the city. If people would recognize you, we would get into a lot of unnecessary trouble. Queen Medusa nodded. She turned around and, without adding anything else, kept walking down the mountain. The pathway now led into a dense forest. High trees towered over Xavier. They provided some much-needed shadow. Xavier looked at the back of the attractive woman in front of him. In his mind, he kept thinking about Sunny. Although he hadn't seen her in years, he could still visualize her smile. Sunny, I hope that wherever you are, you're safe and happy. Please wait for me, he thought. Xavier and Queen Medusa did not bother to stop at the capital again. They headed directly to Wutan City. Although both of them could rely on their wings, it would take at least 2 or 3 days to reach Wutan City. Half of the Empire was lying between them. Luckily, Xavier was not in a rush anymore. With the 3-year agreement finally over, he felt as if a heavy weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Therefore, he also did not mind that he was stopped several times by Queen Medusa, who wanted to visit every auction house she saw on the way. I need to get those ingredients as soon as possible, so that you can refine this pill for me. Do you understand this? She uttered. Xavier sighed. Yeah, I do understand this. I understood you the first time already, and I told you I don't mind stopping in the larger cities to search for ingredients. Stop bringing this up every 5 minutes. It won't speed things up. Much to Queen Medusa's disappointment, they did not even find one of the necessary ingredients for her spirit pill during their trip. Unfortunately, not even she could do anything about that. I should have known that this would be difficult. If everyone could find the ingredients to a level 6 pill at any random auction house, these pills would not be as valuable as they are, she thought. At some point, after traveling for 3 days, they decided to walk along the path instead of flying. After all, flying all the time was exhausting. It is nice to walk for a while. I needed to move my legs. But why didn't Queen Medusa change back into the form of the rainbow-devouring python? She said the rainbow-devouring python needs to recover for 3 days, and the 3 days are over by now. Does the spirit of the rainbow-devouring python force her to stay in human form to protect me? Maybe I'm overthinking stuff. We're getting closer to Wutan City. I can worry about Queen Medusa later. He wondered. Due to Queen Medusa stopping at every auction house she saw, they had to travel a lot longer than otherwise. In the end, it took them 5 days to travel from the Mountain of the Misty Clouds to the area next to Wutan City. Before entering Wutan City, Queen Medusa stopped once more. Xavier rolled his eyes. I have a feeling I know why you stopped, but I'm still going to ask. Why did we stop again? You see this small city in the distance. This is New Yan City. It is famous for its ingredients. Only an idiot would walk past it while looking for ingredients. Queen Medusa did not wait for Xavier's opinion on this. She covered her face with a thin green veil and walked towards New Yan City. Xavier let out a bitter laugh. You call this city small? It looks gigantic. Not as big as the capital, but still impressive. Queen Medusa did not reply. Xavier could only Xavier could only follow her silently without complaining. He swallowed down his frustration. All he wanted to do was reach Wutan City. As they entered New Yan City, Xavier was surprised that none of the soldiers or guards at the gate stopped them. They all stared at Queen Medusa, but no one dared to say anything to her. She does look like royalty. They must be intimidated, Xavier thought. I should be glad about this. The last thing I need is to be stopped again. After a while, Xavier took the lead. He walked along a small alley. Towering buildings were on his left and on his right. Suddenly, he was reminded of his time in New York. It felt eerily similar. He quickly shook the memories of his old life out of his head. After a while, he stopped in front of a well-lit window. Behind it was a lot of people, drinking and laughing. He raised his head. Above him was a sign. Xavier pointed at it. Let's go inside and look around. Queen Medusa furrowed her brows. Why would you want to go inside some cheap restaurant? I'm not hungry, and even if I would be, I would not eat whatever they serve inside there. I'm not making a stop to eat. I'm stopping here because it seems to be busy inside. I'm sure we can ask someone where we can find ingredients in this city. Otherwise, we'll walk around all day without finding anything. Besides, I need something to drink, or I'm going to lose my mind. This time around, it was Xavier who did not wait for any reply. He quickly walked inside and sat at a table next to a window. Queen Medusa followed and sat across the table from Xavier. She supported her head with her hand as she looked out the window. Xavier sighed. During the past 5 days, all she did was chase Xavier from one city to the next and order him to search for the ingredients she wanted. She really is royalty. I wonder when she was outside her own palace for the last time before I showed up and dragged her along. Xavier wondered silently. He waved a waitress over and ordered some wine. Afterwards, he stood up and walked towards the area of the restaurant that was more crowded. Meanwhile, Queen Medusa tapped her finger against the wooden table and ignored all the men trying to hit on her. Can you hurry up already? I hate this place. Stop rushing me. Yes, I'm done. Someone told me there's a hall with ingredients close by. They have all sorts of rare ingredients, but at a very high price. Xavier sat down on the chair again. All right, then take some rest, and afterwards we can go to this ingredient hall and take a look. A glimpse of satisfaction appeared on Queen Medusa's face. Xavier was glad to hear this. He felt how he was getting more and more exhausted. He finished drinking and stood up as he suddenly overheard a woman saying something that made him stop. Have you heard what happened at the faction of the Misty Clouds? A man laughed. Are you talking about that young man that demolished half of the faction? Yes. Do you already know about this? I just heard it from a friend. The lady replied. Are you joking? Everyone was talking about it for the last 5 days. This young man, what was his name? Xavier, I think, wasn't it? He even defeated the future leader of their faction in an official duel. It had something to do with him being engaged to her, and her trying to cancel this engagement. The man laughed. A different man turned around on his chair and joined the conversation. So that's why he caused such a mess. I heard from someone that a young man attacked the faction of the Misty Clouds, but they could not tell me why. What happened after that? Someone told me the faction of the Misty Clouds wanted to keep him hostage. Not sure why. I guess they were worried that if they would let him go, their reputation would be ruined or something. Anyway, I was told that suddenly 2 high-level Q-masters, and even Queen Medusa herself showed up to help him. The man explained, and took a sip of beer in front of him. Queen Medusa? People broke into whispering and laughing. That can't be true. Are you trying to tell us that Queen Medusa showed up at the faction of the Misty Clouds to help some teenager break off his engagement? You do hear how this sounds, right? You have to be kidding. No, you have to believe me. I have an insider who I trust with information like that. He also told me that this young man was the champion of the alchemist competition. The first man informed. But wasn't the champion a young man named Xiao Ying or something? Asked someone else. The man took another sip of beer and shook his head. That was just a secret identity. Probably wanted to avoid his fiancée. She was also at the competition, they said. Incredible, isn't it? A teenager that is capable of making Queen Medusa help him. I wonder what sort of other things he'll accomplish in the future. Just thinking about it scares me. Xavier was stunned as he overheard this conversation. We traveled across half the empire in only 5 days, and everyone is talking about me. This is insane. Queen Medusa emptied her glass of wine and let out a chuckle. Congrats, you're now famous. How do you feel? Xavier shrugged his hands. Not different than usual. Let's go see if they have some of the ingredients we need. Are you coming? Of course. Without hesitation, Queen Medusa stood up, drowned her glass of wine in one gulp, and walked to Xavier. As they wanted to walk to the door, someone else suddenly said something that made Xavier stop again. Where did this young man come from? I don't think I've ever heard of him before he caused such a mess at the faction of the Misty Clouds. I believe he was from the Xiao clan. Wait, the Xiao clan in Wutan City? No, you're talking about a different one, right? There's no way someone so powerful was living so close to us without us ever hearing about him. Another man could not believe what he just heard. The man from before laughed. Oh no, I don't mean a different one. I just got news from Wutan City yesterday. Apparently, the Xiao clan got into some trouble in the past 2 days because of this whole affair. Xavier froze. He felt his blood running cold. His pupils dilated. A mixture of fear and anger overwhelmed him. The men who were talking did not notice any of that. They continued their conversation. They got into some trouble. What happened? Not sure. Just some trouble. You know how secretive these people are. Don't want to give any information to an outsider who might have bad intentions, right? The man took another sip of beer. Suddenly, he sensed something. He raised his head slightly. In front of him, Xavier appeared, his face hidden by his black cloak. A powerful Q energy came from him. The man with his beer was only a level 2 young master. The powerful Q energy coming from Xavier was enough to make him choke on his beer. He coughed a few times, trying to catch his breath. Sir, is there something wrong? You said there was trouble at the Xiao clan. What sort of trouble were you talking about? Xavier's voice was icy. It sent a shiver down the man's spine. The man who drank his beer felt how cold sweat ran down his forehead. Xavier loomed above him. His face was hidden by the hood of his black cloak. I'm asking you only one more time. What sort of trouble is the Xiao clan in? Sir, please, I don't know, really, I swear. All I heard is that there was a very bad fight 2 days ago. After that, the Xiao clan refused to let anyone from outside their clan enter. I don't know why. All I noticed afterward was that their chief, Zhan Xiao, did not show up in Wutan City anymore. I don't know why. Someone told me he might be busy cleaning up at the Xiao clan after the fight, but I'm not so sure. Doesn't he have other people to clean up for him as the leader of a clan? I don't know, but it feels very weird. The man was as pale as a ghost. He held his breath. Xavier felt uneasy as he heard this. His heart sank. To the man's relief, he did not appear to get mad. I understand. Thank you. Xavier turned to Queen Medusa. Let's go. Without any hesitation, they walked out of the restaurant. As Xavier was out of sight, the man finally dared himself to breathe again. Wow, that was scary. Wait, did you see the strange weapon on his back? It looked like the one I saw in the newspaper. Someone made a drawing of it and published it. Another man pointed out. Why would someone draw a weapon and publish it in a newspaper? Asked the first man. Because that was the weapon that was used against the faction of the Misty Clouds. As the people heard this, there was a deadly silence in the restaurant. It took a few moments before someone broke the tense silence. So this was Xavier from the Xiao clan? I did not see much of his face, but he looked so young. How old is he? The restaurant broke into chaos. People made wild guesses and claims. Someone ran to the door to ask Xavier how old he was, and if it was true that Queen Medusa was helping him. Unfortunately, by the time the people opened the door, Xavier was nowhere to be seen anymore. He already ran back through the alley and took several turns to make sure no one was following him. I can't stay here. I need to return to Wutan City, he uttered. Queen Medusa struggled to catch up with Xavier. She was not used to having human legs. Return to Wutan City? But you said the hall with the ingredients is close by. We need to go there first. I said I need to return to Wutan City. He lost any composure as he yelled at her. Queen Medusa was taken aback. Never before had anyone yelled at her or told her what to do. During the past 5 days, not even Xavier disobeyed any of her wishes. Queen Medusa did not know how to reply. She was so confused and shocked as to why Xavier would suddenly act like this. She completely forgot to get mad at him. Xavier grabbed Queen Medusa's hand and ran faster. Hey, what are you doing? She called out as she almost tripped over her human feet. Hurry up already. If you want that spirit pill, you better do what I tell you to do. We have an agreement, remember? You're supposed to follow me for 1 year. It's not the other way around, in case Her Majesty wasn't aware of this." Xavier threw her an annoyed glare. Queen Medusa was as silent as a mouse as Xavier dragged her across the city. Once they were outside the gate, Xavier summoned his eagle wings and rushed toward Wutan City. Queen Medusa followed him without complaint. The two of them flew across the sky and landed at a spot not far away from Wutan City. Without taking a break, Xavier ran towards the city gate. He raised his head and stopped involuntarily as he saw the enormous familiar sign with the 3 words on it. "Wutan City, I'm finally back home." He sighed. He took one deep breath and walked through the gate into the city. Once inside, a wave of nostalgia overwhelmed him. "Nothing has changed here. I remember being over there with Sunny. We were searching for a monster heart. I gave her a necklace on that day. I wonder if she still has it." Xavier laughed softly as he remembered this. His dark expression softened as he saw his old home. He quickly looked behind his back to see if Queen Medusa was still following him. As Xavier saw that she was still there, he turned his head back and kept walking down the familiar street. He had no time to look around at every corner. As fast as he could, he hurried towards the Shao clan. On his way, he passed by a few markets that belonged to the Shao clan. Xavier furrowed his brows as he saw how the markets were almost empty. He sped his pace up. More than 10 minutes later, he arrived at a gate that led to a courtyard. Above the gate were 2 words, Shao Clan. He let out a sigh of relief. "Back when I left, this place was full of people. I remember it. Everyone was celebrating and bidding me farewell. I can see it so clearly in my memory as if it had just happened," he remembered. Right now, the courtyard of the Shao clan looked as if it had been deserted. Not even a guard was standing at the gate. Xavier turned towards Medusa. "Can you promise me something?" "No." Queen Medusa did not think twice before she replied. Xavier rolled his eyes. "But you will get an ingredient for the spirit pill in exchange." This made Queen Medusa straighten up. "Do you have one?" she asked. "I might have one. One of the ingredients needed is a needle monster fruit. I got one from a friend of mine who I was traveling with in the mountain range of monsters. That was a long time ago, but I checked my storage ring. The ingredient is still there and good to use." Xavier smirked as he saw that Queen Medusa's interest was piqued. She was clearly unhappy. "And what do I have to promise you?" Xavier looked deep into her eyes. "Just for today, obey me without question. I am afraid that something bad is going on. If we run into anyone that wants to fight me, kill them." Queen Medusa chuckled. "I don't mind killing a few people. I was worried it might be something else." Xavier smiled and walked through the gate. Just as he walked through the gate, a small angry voice screamed at him. "Are you here to bully us?" Xavier was startled and paused. Suddenly, he could feel a pair of 2 small fists hitting him repeatedly in his lower abdomen. A kick against his knee followed. None of the attacks were strong enough to make Xavier flinch. He lowered his head and saw a young girl. She must have been about 7 years old, if at all. And you are?" he asked. The girl did not stop kicking him. Xavier bent down and lifted her up with both hands. The girl tried to keep kicking him. "I am not afraid of you," she yelled. "Wait, the way you try to kick me reminds me of someone. Are you related to a girl named Ming by any chance?" he blurted. Hearing this name made the girl stop attacking Xavier. "No, but she is a friend of my older sister. She taught me how to kick someone really hard." "A friend of your older sister, huh? Who is your older sister? Wait, is it Xiao Mei?" Xavier tried to remember who Ming was friends with. He must have guessed it correctly. The young girl brightened up and hastily nodded. "You know my sister?" "Of course I know your sister. My name is Xavier. I used to live here. I was traveling for a while. What is your name?" he replied. "Xavier?" The little girl was startled. She did not remember him, but she had heard the elders and their chief talk about him. They would talk about how Xavier gave the clan medicine and helped them gather a fortune. Xavier was hailed as a hero of the Xiao clan. "My name is Lai." Her intelligent eyes looked at Xavier, then at Queen Medusa. The young girl was shocked to see this beautiful, veiled woman. "And who is she? Is she a princess?" Xavier threw Queen Medusa a threatening glare. Queen Medusa did not see it. She chuckled as she saw the little girl. Much to Xavier's surprise, she even smiled. "I am not a princess, little one." Queen Medusa said, and patted Lai's head softly. Xavier shook his head in confusion and put Lai down on the ground. Can you tell me what happened here? Lai suddenly frowned, seemingly remembering what was going on. Tears formed in her big eyes and rolled down her puffy cheeks. Something bad happened. There are evil people who take advantage of us. They show up every day. My mama said they want to steal our markets. They told us we have to stay inside. She suddenly burst into tears and hugged Xavier's waist, crying into his robe. Xavier sighed. He rubbed over her back. All right, Lai, don't worry. I'll handle everything and make sure those evil people won't bother us anymore, okay? I promise. After Lai cried for a good minute, she let go and brushed the tears of her red eyes. She nodded. Xavier took her hand. Lai, can you bring me inside and let me take a look? Yes, I can do that. Lai bounced along the small pathway and led the way toward a large hall. Xavier remembered this hall. Another flashback to Sunny appeared in his mind. He remembered her crystal clear, in her green dress, reading under the sunlight of the large window. Lai brought Xavier back to reality. The evil people are inside there. The first elder and the others are also inside there. All of them are hurt. They're hurt? Xavier's eyes widened. As he stopped at the stone stairs in front of the large hall, he could hear sounds coming from inside. Xavier entered the familiar large hall of his old home. It had been years since he entered it, but he could still tell that it did not look the way it used to. Inside the hall it was dark, which made the gloomy atmosphere worse than it already was. There were at least 100 people packed inside. These 100 people were divided into two groups, eyeing each other like predators. It was clear that things threatened to escalate. A few people were seated in front of these two groups. In front of one group were the elders of the Shao clan. Their faces were pale, and Xavier could see that they were wounded. Stains of blood were on their dark robes. Hopelessness was in the air. On the other side was a group of prominent men with fierce looks. In the leaders' chairs sat 3 people. I recognize this damned bastard in the middle seat. His name is Shao. I beat him up when he kept bothering Sunny. I also recognize that guy next to him. His name is Fang. He's the leader of the Fang clan. I don't know who the third person is. Wait, is that... Oh no, a level 3 alchemist badge? Shit. Xavier spoke. He paused to look at the unfamiliar level 3 alchemist. He was wearing a long robe. His face was cold and stern. He must have been at least 50 years old. What is a level 3 alchemist doing in Wutan City? There isn't even an alchemist society, wondered Xavier. Most people did not notice Xavier sneaking inside the hall. Those who did not recognize him. It was too dark, and Xavier did his best to hide his face. As he walked closer, the elders kept talking with the 3 men in the leader seats. We know there has been some trouble lately, but do you really think that means you can kick our Shao clan around? And now you think you can insult us by purchasing the marketplaces that we worked so hard for at such a low rate? The second elder stared with a dark expression at the fierce 3 men. Fang burst into deep laughter. You must be joking. Your Shao clan has accumulated all the money in Wutan City. If this is going to continue, then we will be forced to leave this city. The Shao clan is not the only clan in Wutan City, in case you forgot about this. This is our home. It's where we have lived for generations, and we want to continue living here. As long as you agree with the conditions we gave you, we won't make things any harder for your Shao clan. It would be in everyone's best interest to share the ownership of the marketplaces. The third elder glared at Fang. He jumped up. Someone had to hold him back as he yelled at Fang. You offered us 10,000 gold coins for one marketplace. You guys are nothing but thieves. Calm down now. The elder who held the third elder back murmured. Sit down. Don't make this harder for us. The third elder gritted his teeth and sat down. Shao let out an arrogant laugh. Your third elder is as hot-headed as always. Shouldn't he have learned some manners by now? Acting this way is a sure way to get himself hurt. Unfortunately, none of you will have a choice in this matter. If you agree to sell the marketplace, it will be sold. If you don't agree to sell the marketplace, well, it will still be sold. The first elder huffed. Bloodlust was in his eyes. Shao, keeping you alive was a mistake. We should have killed you when we had the chance. It's too bad then that you let me live. Unfortunately, Not even our level 3 alchemist could refine a pill against regret. It is finally time for me, Xiao, to get my revenge for all the pain your clan put me through 2 years ago. Xiao hissed. The first elder was silent for a moment before he spoke up. Don't get the wrong idea. We will defend ourselves. We will keep fighting, no matter what. Deep down, he had no hope left. All he could do was stall for time and hope they won't attack. In the best-case scenario, they would give up and leave in a few hours. Xiao laughed again. You old bastard. You are not dumb enough to think you 3 old fools will stand a chance against us. What do you plan to do without Zhan Xiao's help, huh? There's nothing you can do anymore. Just give up, you idiot. The face of the first elder twitched. He waved his hand as he sensed that the people behind him were about to make a rash move. As soon as he did so, the people calmed down. If you dare to harm our clan, we will make sure you'll regret it. Once Xavier returns, he will make you pay with your life. The 3 fierce men turned suddenly very silent. Even the level 3 alchemist did not say anything. He looked as if he was startled as he heard this name. They all remembered this young man. Already 2 years ago, Xavier caused Xiao and Fang and their clans a lot of trouble. And now Xavier caused a mess in the faction of the Misty Clouds. Everyone had heard of what had happened. Wow, that was enough to make them all shut up. Someone whispered. Of course that will make them shut up. You've heard of what Xavier did at the faction of the Misty Clouds, didn't you? The entire city was in shock as word spread. Honestly, I could not believe it myself. The faction of the Misty Clouds seems so powerful. They're almost like gods, aren't they? And some teenager just goes on a rampage there. It sounds unbelievable, voiced someone else. Even their alchemist looks scared. Look at him. Another person added. It was true. The level 3 alchemist looked as if his skin was crawling. The people on both sides continued to murmur and whisper as Xavier's name was dropped. Xiao tried to mask his fear by laughing, but it sounded forced and uncomfortable. You will be dead before Xavier returns. Now stop wasting our time. If you refuse to agree to our conditions, we will take direct action against you. Don't pretend to be surprised by that. Your Xiao clan controlled all the marketplaces for years, causing us to end up bankrupt. None of you showed us any mercy, so don't get upset when we won't show you any mercy either. He waved his hand. 3 men that were close to him unsheathed their weapons. The first elder jumped up and smashed his fist on the table next to him. All right, if you want to fight, you will get a fight. We will fight until our last man is dead if we have to. The members of the Xiao clan behind him cheered. We are no cowards. We will show them our strength. The first elder smiled. I hope we can fight until our future leader returns from the faction of the Misty Clouds. Xavier's eyes widened as he overheard this. Future leader? Me? I don't know how to feel about this. He always looked down on me, and now he expects me to become the future leader? Xavier shook his head. The level 3 alchemist stood up. Suddenly, a Q energy rose from his body. Xavier could tell that this level 3 alchemist must have been at least a level 6 true master. The old alchemist's face was red with anger. Your future leader. Your future leader is nothing but a cruel murderer. He was the one who murdered my student Aaron. Aaron was the most promising student I ever had. It is a shame that he was killed in cold blood. Shit. Xavier suddenly remembered. So he is the master of that pervert. Does he know how much of a pervert his most promising student was? Besides, it was Sonny who kicked his ass. All I did was put him out of his misery. It was a mercy kill, if anything. Xiao glared at the 3 elders of the Xiao clan. He smiled coldly. Kill them all. Don't let anyone escape with their lives. A bunch of people surrounded the elders of the Xiao clan. Hopelessness overcame them. It seems that the heavens want our Xiao clan to be destroyed. There is nothing we can do but keep fighting, even if this will be our last fight. Members of the Xiao clan, show them your courage. We won't give up. Let us fight to our deaths. The words of the first elder were enough to make every member of the Xiao clan cheer. They stood up, unsheathed their weapons, and braced themselves for the attack. I don't think there will be any need for that. Just as all the members of the Xiao clan got ready for the fight, Xavier, in the middle of the hall, pulled the hood from his cloak down. The dim light that came through the windows shone on his face. A cold spark was in his eyes as his mouth twitched into a faint smile. I'm sorry that I'm late. Xavier took a few steps forward in the hall. Everyone's eyes were focused on him. Those who recognized him could not believe what they saw. A spark of hope lit up in their eyes. He walked past the large men with their weapons, and Xiao, as well as Fang. Their faces were dumbstruck. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. It was deadly silent. Not even the chirping birds could be heard. Only the sound of heavy breathing was in the hall. Xavier walked to the three elders of the Xiao clan and took a respectful bow. The first elder was in tears.
Xavier! Xiao Xavier! Is it really you? I cannot believe it!
Xavier raised his head. In the past, he despised the first elder. This old man always mocked him and looked down at him. Yet Xavier could not help but feel bad for him. The first elder looked weaker and older than ever before. He looked as if he had aged 10 years in the past 2 years. Xavier smiled and nodded. Any grudge he had against the first elder was gone. No matter what had happened between them, Xavier was a member of the Xiao clan, and so was the first elder. As the elders looked at Xavier and confirmed that it was him, the hopelessness was replaced with joy.
It really is him! I thought I was imagining things.
He smiled.
Finally, Xavier is back, said another member of the clan. Our clan will be saved,
added someone else. Fang and Xiao looked at each other with fear. The fierce-looking men around them noticed and began to tremble.
Xiao, you bastard! You promised me that the faction of the Misty Clouds would get rid of Xavier after the mess he caused there. How does it come that he is standing right in front of us?
Asked one of the men. Xiao swallowed heavily.
How the hell am I supposed to know? That person told me that Xavier was taken care of, and with their strength, I did not think that they would lie to me. I'm just the leader of a small clan. Why would they lie to me?
So you're trying to tell me that Xavier just crawled out of his grave to show up here? You annoying idiot. The only reason I agreed on your stupid plan was because you assured me Xavier is dead.
Fang gritted his teeth. It was hard to tell if his body was trembling due to fear or due to anger. Since Xavier did not show up for a few days after the mess at the faction of the Misty Clouds, Fang believed Xiao as he swore that Xavier was dead. Seeing Xavier alive and well was quite a blow to him. Xiao was as pale as a ghost. Meanwhile, the powerful Q energy that came from the level 3 alchemist also became less. He looked exhausted. Xavier did not pay them any mind. He kept looking at the elders. "Are you all fine?" he asked. The first elder struggled to stand up.
I am fine. Don't worry about us.
It was clear that he was lying. He looked hurt and weak. Despite this, he used all his remaining strength to take a bow in front of Xavier. As Xavier saw the first elder was about to lose balance, he reached for his arms to support him. "Please, it's all right. Besides, if Father would see an elder bow to me, he would get mad at me and think I forced you to do this." Xavier laughed a bit. The first elder straightened up and shook his head.
I am deeply sorry, Xavier. The three of us have gone overboard in the past. You were just a child, and it has been difficult enough for you to lose your powers, and we only made it worse by looking down on you. You are a good kid, Xavier, and I am really embarrassed for acting so immature at such an old age.
Xavier could see how the first elder's eyes got wet. He chuckled faintly. "I wasn't really a good kid, was I? I remember being quite hot-headed and a bit harsh at times, but I don't think any of this matters anymore. We both have grown a lot, and the past is in the past. And today, as I set foot into the clan again for the first time in years, I remembered so many things. It made me realize that this is my home. Despite not being born here, the clan has been nothing but accepting and loving. Well, until I lost my powers. But that is a different story. Either way, this clan has been more of a home to me than any place in the continent of the heavens, or back in America. But I think I should settle things before reminiscing." The first elder nodded.
But please be careful. Fang and Xiao are level 5 true masters, and this level 3 alchemist is on an even higher level than them. I think he must be a level 6 or a level 7 true master.
Xavier smiled and nodded. As he turned towards Fang and Xiao, the smile vanished. "Was the lesson I taught you 2 years ago not enough? You guys are dumber than I thought." Xiao swallowed and forced a laugh.
Xavier, I am really surprised to see you here. It was awfully boring without you around. I'm glad to see the faction of the Misty Clouds did not kill you, although I'm not sure why they would let you live after the mess you've caused them.
Xavier huffed. He got a chair from behind him and sat down. With one swift motion, he unsheathed the broadsword ruler from his back. He slammed it into the hard floor. I'm more surprised to see you here, Fang. Xiao, on the other hand, oh well. He turned towards Fang. Fang's body tensed up as he saw how Xavier looked at him. Oh, is it? Can you believe it has been 2 years already? Time sure flies by, and you've done some remarkable things, I've heard. Really impressive. I should not be surprised. I've known your father for years. He is a force to be reckoned with. Of course, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Fang let out an awkward, desperate laugh as he said this. Droplets of cold sweat formed on his forehead. Xavier's expression did not change. Cut it out already. Tell me what the two of you are doing in my home, and why you think it is a good idea to threaten my family. Fang pretended to be shocked. Threatening your family? Oh, no. You must be misunderstanding things. We're not threatening your family. We came over here because we heard that you guys were in trouble. We wanted to take a look at how bad it is and see if we could perhaps offer some help. We were concerned about the Xiao clan after what happened. That is all. Near him, Xiao's face switched between red and white repeatedly. The hopelessness that was felt by the Xiao clan before Xavier showed up was now felt by Xiao.
That idiot. Does he really think he can talk himself out of this? Xavier's not going to believe this for a second.
Xavier looked unimpressed. His sharp eyes dug through Fang like daggers. Is that so? Xavier did not move. Suddenly, a hot green flame appeared in front of his face. Instantly, the temperature in the hall rose by several degrees. The members of the Xiao clan that were close behind Xavier backed off a few feet. Xiao, Fang, if the two of you scheme against my family, neither of you will leave this hall alive, Xavier warned. The green heavenly flame moved towards Xavier and began to wrap around his body until he was completely shrouded by it. Despite the heat of the flame, a cold shiver was sent down Fang's spine. No, Xavier, don't misunderstand. I don't have any bad intentions towards your clan, please. We will leave immediately. Don't worry, you won't see us here again, I promise. I'm sure the others can promise you the same thing, right? He looked around. All the fierce-looking men, including Xiao and the level 3 alchemist, hurriedly nodded. They sheathed their weapons and wanted to leave. The third elder of the Xiao clan snorted.
You won't let them get away with this, will you? The past 2 days they have kicked our clan around, hurting and mocking us. They did not show us any mercy, not even the pregnant women or the children. Some of these awful monsters even...
Xavier waved his hand, stopping the third elder from saying more. Xiao was startled. He threw an angry glare at the third elder, who only replied with a smug smile. Xiao's face turned red. You... Xiao was about to hurl some insults at the elders, but quickly shook his head. He turned to Xavier and tried to remain calm.
Master Xavier, all of this was just a bad misunderstanding. I know it looks like we are the bad guys here, but we were only concerned. We offered to buy a market from your clan. That way your clan could spend more time repairing the damage that happened, instead of maintaining the market and getting some gold coins as well. It was just an offer to help on our behalf. That's all. There's no need to get upset about this, right?
He waved his hand, urging the men close to him to leave before the situation escalated. The face of the level 3 alchemist turned red with anger as he saw Xiao and Fang trying to flee like cowards. Although the level 3 alchemist was a bit scared of Xavier, after everything he had heard, he was not as much of a coward as Xiao or Fang.
You all better stop right now, you bloody cowards. The Xiao clan is at its weakest point, and you all want to run away because of one teenager? Are none of you ashamed to act like this?
Fang, Xiao, and their men paused. For a moment, there was a tense, deadly silence. As they heard a scream, they turned to the level 3 alchemist. His body was wrapped up with a rainbow-colored Q energy. From it, a rainbow-colored liquid dripped into the level 3 alchemist's body. Each time a drop touched his skin, he would let out a blood-curdling scream. Under everyone's terrified looks, the acid poison burnt the skin and the flesh from the alchemist's body. Beneath it, the bones became visible, but not for long. As the liquid reached the bones, they turned black and fell apart. The people who saw this forgot to breathe. Some even fainted, as almost nothing but a few bones were left. The rainbow-colored Q energy let go of the alchemist. It moved towards Xavier. Everyone close to the rainbow Q energy hastily jumped backwards. No one wanted to get anywhere near this terrifying Q energy. As the rainbow Q energy was directly in front of Xavier, it stopped. Slowly, it took on the form of a beautiful woman. Moments later, it took on the body of Queen Medusa. She smiled, but did not say anything.
Queen Medusa?
Fang was the one who recognized her first. As the others heard this name, their hearts stopped beating for a few seconds.
I had no idea. I am so unbelievably sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am. Really.
Fang bowed in front of Xavier, and then Queen Medusa, as deeply as he could. Without waiting any longer, Fang, Xiao, and their men rushed towards the door. Xavier shook his head and rolled his eyes. He looked at the fierce men that within the span of about 5 minutes turned into a bunch of cowards. They were desperately trying to escape, tripping over their own feet as they did so. After a few seconds, Xavier turned towards Queen Medusa.
Leave none of them alive.
Queen Medusa went through a side door of the hall and left without any sound. A wide smile was on her face as she heard Xavier tell her to leave no one alive.
Finally, I get to do something. I was about to get bored.
She smiled. Seconds later, from outside the hall of the Shao clan, countless blood-curdling screams could be heard. Most of the members of the Shao clan that were inside the hall listened to those screams with great satisfaction. They had lost all hope before Xavier showed up. None of them expected to leave this hall alive.
Xavier truly turned the tables around. He is a hero of our clan.
Not even a minute later, all the screaming stopped. The eyes that were staring at the large door now turned back to Xavier. He was sitting quietly on a chair. His face was unreadable. The first elder stood up and walked towards Xavier, as good as his injured old legs allowed it.
"Young Chief Xavier,"
he uttered. Xavier stood up from his chair and waved the first elder off.
Please, just call me Xavier. I don't think I'll get used to you calling me Young Chief. Besides, I'm no chief, am I?
The first elder was startled. Immediately, he nodded.
Of course, Xavier. But after everything that happened, I believe there will be no better chief for this clan than you.
Xavier laughed.
I don't think my father would agree on that. Anyways, let's talk about this later. You said many of our clan members are injured. We should treat their wounds first.
He flicked his fingers, and more than 10 small bottles of medicine appeared on a table near him.
Treat the wounded children and women first, he ordered.
The first elder nodded, and immediately went to treat the wounded alongside the other elders. Some of the people who were not injured helped as well. Xavier watched for a while. Afterward, he sheathed the broadsword ruler on his back, and walked towards the large main door. The warm sunlight expelled all of the gloominess that shrouded the large hall. Xavier walked through the door and looked over the field outside the hall. He furrowed his brows.
Judging by the screaming, I expected there to be a bit more blood and bones lying around. How is it so clean?
He muttered. Queen Medusa, who was lazily leaning on a willow tree, played with a leaf. As she heard Xavier, she raised her head to look at him.
Don't worry, I would not want to cause any mess. There are no corpses or bones remaining, but remember what you promised me. Otherwise, your corpse won't be left either.
Xavier nodded. An impressed smile was on his face. Silently, he thought,
even though she might be an awfully arrogant woman and acts like a pain in my ass sometimes, she's incredibly powerful and efficient. No matter if one likes her or not, one has to respect her. She really is a queen for a reason.
Behind Xavier, the other members of the Shao clan appeared.
Finally, those bullies will leave us alone.
Xavier's smile disappeared as he remembered something.
Oh yes, First Elder. Where are the other members of our clan? There were only about 100 people inside the hall. Our clan has gotten a lot bigger than that, hasn't it? Where is everybody?
The First Elder did not look worried, which calmed Xavier down a bit.
Don't worry, Xavier. I already expected that the situation with Fang and Xiao and their men would get tense. Therefore, I made sure to move most of the clan members to the mountain near the village to keep them safe. I also sent a few stronger people with them to make sure they will be protected.
Xavier's body relaxed. He took a grateful bow towards the First Elder to thank him.
Xavier then noticed someone staring at him and turned around. Oh, it's you. Why? Are you doing okay? He went on his knees to be on eye level with the young girl who he met earlier. Her bright eyes were sparkling as she looked at Xavier. I am good, thank you, Xavier. Will you make sure nothing bad will ever happen to our clan? Xavier chuckled. I will, I promise. We're all family here after all. Now go to the mountain next to our village and tell everyone that I'm back and that it's safe to come out. I want to see them again. Lai nodded, and without saying another word, ran towards the mountain, bouncing excitedly along the pathway as she did so. Xavier watched after her for a moment and then turned back towards the First Elder. Can you give me a recap of everything that happened the past few days? I really want to know what happened in detail, so I can figure out how bad the situation is and what to do next. The First Elder nodded. His expression turned serious. He thought for a moment, and then gestured towards the hall.
Maybe we should talk inside. This is going to take a while. A lot of things happened.
Xavier nodded and followed the First Elder back into the hall. The Second and Third Elders exchanged worried glances and followed closely behind. Some of the members of the Shao clan already cleaned up the mess that was left behind by the intruders. It looked a lot nicer. There were no turned-over chairs or tables anymore, and it looked a lot brighter. The air was not as stuffy anymore either. The three elders and Xavier sat down on chairs. Hurriedly, a servant brought them some hot tea. Xavier gratefully took the hot teacup and blew some steam off. Tell me what happened. I can tell something bad has happened by how silent the three of you are. The First Elder nodded and swallowed.
I suppose there is no way around this. After you left, we used the large amount of medicine you refined for us to strengthen our position within the markets of Wutan City. We knew that Shao and Fang wanted to team up to get rid of us, but we were not worried about them actually acting on these plans, especially not because we had the support of Lady Fai from the Premier family. Unfortunately, as we kept making more and more profits, Shao and Fang caused more and more conflicts. 3 months before you returned, they began their attacks. Luckily by this point, we had gotten very powerful, and they were unable to do much damage, but... The First Elder suddenly paused. Clearly something heavy was weighing down on his heart. After clearing his throat, he continued. But 3 days ago, our clan received very bad news. It was late at night when 3 people in black robes appeared. They descended from the sky like ghosts. No one was prepared for these 3 people. Luckily, they did not want to hurt anyone. Still, they caused a lot of damage. Chief Zahn was furious. He ordered the strongest members of our clan to stop them, but their strength was beyond anything we could have imagined. They did not leave us any chance. None of us lasted a second in a fight against them, and we could all tell that those 3 people held back their true power. Otherwise, none of us would be left alive. I remember their first strike. It was terrible. I have never seen such a power before, and I never want to see it again. The teacup in Xavier's hand broke. His eyes glared at the elders. A bad suspicion crept into his heart. Where is my father? Is he on the mountain with the others? The 3 elders exchanged desperate looks. As they did not reply for a moment, Xavier gritted his teeth and let out a furious cry. Tell me already! The First Elder swallowed heavily. Well, those 3 mysterious people chased after him for some reason. Chief Zahn, your father, seemed to be aware of this. To avoid anyone from getting hurt, he led them away from our clan. We don't know where he is. We have not seen him since. A powerful Q energy surged from Xavier's body. The table near him burst apart. Some of the clan members in the hall who continued to clean up looked over at him. They straightened up, and their bodies got tense. The green heavenly flame wrapped around Xavier's body again. Do you have any information about these 3 people? Any at all? Xavier asked angrily. The First Elder shook his head. No, nothing. But don't panic. There is still hope. We don't believe they want to kill our chief. He pulled out a small box from his chest pocket. As he opened it, a small emerald green piece of jade appeared. It was glowing brightly. The First Elder carefully removed it from the box. This jade piece was left behind by the ancestors of our Shao clan. Each leader of the clan will place a bit of spiritual energy into it. If the leader of our clan dies, the light will die with him. Seeing that the glow did not leave the piece of jade, he cannot be dead.
Xavier's pounding heart calmed down. He took the piece of glowing jade and let it wander through his fingers. It felt oddly warm to the touch. Can this piece of jade lead us to my father?
No, I am afraid not, Xavier. I am sorry.
A sad smile was on the First Elder's face as he said this. Xavier sighed. He kept staring at the piece of jade between his fingers. Its glow did not diminish. Xavier looked back at the First Elder. I will make sure to save my father, no matter how. Whoever did this must die.
Everyone in the large hall of the Shao clan looked at Xavier. The cold, menacing expression on his face made their skin crawl. No one wanted to make a sound. The First Elder was the first person who broke the tense silence with a deep sigh.
Look, Xavier, I keep thinking about the motive those three mysterious robed people who kidnapped our Chief Zahn would have. They must have known that Chief Zahn is your father, right? How high do you think the odds are that those three people were sent by the faction of the Misty Clouds to avenge their faction?
Xavier huffed. His face was grim. How high are the odds? You don't believe for a split second that this was just some weird coincidence, do you? 3 people showed up a few days after I left the faction of the Misty Clouds in a mess, and decided to cause a mess in my home. Then they add fuel to the fire by kidnapping my father. There's no way this was a coincidence. The First Elder let out a bitter laugh. He thought the same. The only reason he asked was to get Xavier's thoughts on it.
I figured.
Everyone in the large hall of the Shao clan looked at Xavier. The cold, menacing expression on his face made their skin crawl. No one wanted to make a sound. The First Elder was the first person who broke the tense silence with a deep sigh.
Look, Xavier, I keep thinking about the motive those 3 mysterious robed people who kidnapped our Chief Zahn would have. They must have known that Chief Zahn is your father, right? How high do you think the odds are that those 3 people were sent by the faction of the Misty Clouds to avenge their faction?
Xavier huffed. His face was grim. How high are the odds? You don't believe for a split second that this was just some weird coincidence, do you? 3 people showed up a few days after I left the faction of the Misty Clouds in a mess, and decided to cause a mess in my home. Then they add fuel to the fire by kidnapping my father. There's no way this was a coincidence. The First Elder let out a bitter laugh. He thought the same. The only reason he asked was to get Xavier's thoughts on it.
I figured. What do you plan to do next? Our clan never had to face a powerful faction such as the faction of the Misty Clouds before. We can't challenge them to a fight.
Xavier glared at him. Were you not listening to what I said? I said that I will make sure whoever did this will pay for this with their life.
I was listening, Master Xavier. But how do you intend to do this? I have no idea who from the faction of the Misty Clouds decided to go for revenge, but judging from the looks of it, they must be someone with a high rank. Therefore, I imagine that they must also be quite powerful. Not to mention, they will have the full support of the faction, or not. If you want to kill whoever did this, you will have to fight the entire faction of the Misty Clouds. Who did you upset so much?
The First Elder raised an eyebrow, waiting for Xavier's reply. Xavier let out a sigh. He is amongst the highest-ranking members of the faction of the Misty Clouds. I think the only people above him are the former sect leader and the current sect leader. The First Elder laughed.
You upset one of their leaders, then? And here I thought I was the only elder who you could get into fights with. Oh dear. Anyway, I don't think the faction of the Misty Clouds wants you dead. If they would want you dead, I'm pretty sure they would have gone after you, and not our clan. Or at least our entire clan would have gotten destroyed by now. The relationship between our clan and the faction of the Misty Clouds is not unsalvageable.
Xavier furrowed his brows. You want to salvage things? You can't be serious. How? Things were already bad enough between me and the faction of the Misty Clouds because of this whole engagement thing. They're not salvageable anymore. The First Elder shook his head.
I would not say so. Not yet. You did not kill whoever you've upset back there. Once you would kill them, then things would be unsalvageable.
So you're saying I should not save my father? Xavier gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. The First Elder saw this and tried to calm Xavier down.
No, that was not what I said at all. I am trying to tell you that once you kill this person, the relationship between our clan and the faction will be unsalvageable. The last time the faction of the Misty Clouds was at a disadvantage, mostly because they were in the wrong for trying to break off the engagement between you and Lady Yon. They would not dare to pour fuel into this fire by trying to murder you. They would lose all of their reputation and respect. However, once you kill whoever you've upset, the faction won't hold back against our clan. I am not saying you should not save our chief, but that you need to take the position as a chief to prepare everything in case they attack our clan. We need to make sure to keep everyone safe if there will be a fight between us and the faction of the Misty Clouds.
Xavier slowly began to understand. You're saying I need to act as a temporary chief to keep the clan safe until my father is saved, and make sure to not get anyone into trouble with the faction of the Misty Clouds.
Well, pretty much, yes,
the First Elder confirmed. Xavier's grim expression softened. He nodded. He knew that the First Elder had a good point. Silently, he thought it through. If I would leave the clan right now and kill the faction's First Elder Shen to save my father, the Xiao clan would be without protection if the faction wants to fight back. I need to make sure everyone here is safe first, so the faction can't harm anyone. Xavier leaned back against his chair. His fingers tapped against the wooden armrest. He closed his eyes and kept thinking. Everyone else in the hall remained quiet. Everyone wanted to hear what Xavier's next step was. After a few minutes, Xavier stopped tapping and opened his eyes, looking directly at the three elders. No matter what, I will get my father back.
And our clan? How will the clan stay safe from the faction?
The First Elder asked. Xavier stood up. Don't worry, I will come up with a way. I won't let them touch my clan. Can I ask you something?
Of course. What would you like to know, Xavier?
Replied the First Elder. Will I have full authority over the Xiao clan until my father is back? Xavier asked. The three elders were startled. They hesitated for a moment and looked at each other. Eventually, the First Elder sighed and looked back to Xavier.
Well, there won't be any way around it, we suppose. You are the only one who can save our clan, after all. Chief Xavier, we will follow your orders.
Xavier took a polite bow. He walked over to the throne-like seat of the chief, where he always saw his father sitting. I never expected to sit on this chair myself. I could have seen my oldest brother sitting there, but me? This will take a while to get used to, especially the Chief Xavier thing. Xavier stopped as he was in front of the throne-like seat. He noticed that it looked a lot bigger up close. He turned around and sat down on it. My plan involves moving the Xiao clan away from Wutan City. The people gasped. Some began to whisper to each other. The elders were at a loss as well.
But, Chief Xavier, what about our marketplaces? We have obtained so much value from them. We can't just leave them behind.
Xavier almost flinched as he heard people address him as Chief Xavier. He waved his hand. As the commotion died down, he explained. We all know that Chief Zahn went missing because the faction of the Misty Clouds kidnapped him. Although they are very strong, we cannot allow them to bully us. If we would stay in Wutan City and do nothing, they would only laugh at us for hiding like cowards. So tell me, should we hide in Wutan City like cowards, or rescue our chief and make them pay? The people erupted into loud cheering.
Yes, make them pay!
We are no cowards! We will show them! The young girl Lai appeared in the hall. She joined the cheering and raised her small fists into the air. Yes, we are no cowards! Behind her, about 10 more children appeared. Most of them were between the ages of 10 and 13. They quickly joined the cheering as they heard what was going on. A woman took a step forward to Xavier. It will be an honor to fight alongside you. Our clan had never offended the faction of the Misty Clouds, but they think they can treat us like dirt and keep spitting at us. We will make them pay, Chief Xavier, she exclaimed. A chain reaction seemed to appear as she stepped closer to Xavier. One by one, more members stepped in front of Xavier and pledged their loyalty to him. The First Elder watched with awe.
Young Chief, since everyone is so eager to fight alongside you, why don't you tell us your full plan?
The cheering died down quickly. Everyone looked at Xavier with anticipation. He thought for a moment before answering. We will send our clan members out of Wutan City in batches. If we all leave at the same time, it would draw too much attention and cause us trouble. We will head to the western region of the Empire of the Heavens.
The first elder was surprised to hear this.
The western region of the Empire? What are we going to do there?
Xavier gestured to the first elder to quiet down before continuing. In the western region is the Tag Desert. The faction of the Misty Clouds has not as much influence there due to Queen Medusa's reign. They would not want to upset her. Even they fear her power. Additionally, my two older brothers, Yang and Shi, have their own mercenary company over there. They are quite successful, and it would be good to have their support. As for the marketplaces in Wutan City, I will let the premier auction house manage them. We can split the profits with them. I have a good relationship with the premier family, so I'm not worried that they will sell us out or betray us in any other way. Xavier paused for a moment. He kept thinking, and then pointed at the first elder. I want you to sort all the other things out. We need to bring all the valuable things we can carry. Make sure to leave as little as possible behind. The first elder nodded without hesitation.
I understand, Chief Xavier. When should we leave?
As quickly as possible. It would be bad to draw this out. We can begin to leave tonight. Those who cannot fight should leave first. Make sure to send some strong members of the clan with them to keep them protected along the way. Make sure they also know the way to the Rock Desert City. The Desert Steel Mercenary Company that my brothers run is there. Once the first people arrive there, they can stay and wait for the others to arrive. Meanwhile, I'll lead some people to clear out the clans of Shao and Fang within the next 2 days. Not only to get rid of them, but also to draw everyone's attention away. People will be so busy talking about our clan fighting Fang and Shao's men that they won't notice how our clan is slowly leaving Wutan City, Xavier explained. The faces of the 3 elders lit up.
Brilliant! This is a great way to keep everyone's eyes away from our home.
Queen Medusa sat quietly in a corner and sipped on a cup of hot tea. Occasionally, she glanced at the people near Xavier. Their eyes were full of joy and respect. A faint smile spread over Queen Medusa's face for a brief moment. How remarkable. Xavier managed to give everyone new hope in a completely hopeless situation in a matter of minutes. That really shows how much of a natural-born leader he is. As soon as she thought this, Queen Medusa's eyes widened. She quickly shook those thoughts out of her head. What am I thinking about? This stubborn brat is a natural-born leader? Ugh, I feel like I've spent too much time with him, and it's only been a few days. As Xavier was done giving orders to the other clan members, the hall quickly became empty again. He let out a deep breath and let himself sink deeper into the seat. He laughed bitterly. And I thought I could take a break after leaving the faction of the Misty Clouds. I guess it can't be helped. I need to save my father. I owe him so much. He accepted me like his own son. He never doubted me. First Elder Shen, you will regret kidnapping my father and insulting my family. This time, I will not hold back. As soon as it turned dark, the first few batches of people from the Shao clan began to move. 10 lightly armed groups appeared at the gate of the Shao clan. Xavier thoroughly examined them before appointing a few stronger people to each group. Once he was done, they took advantage of the dead of night and left. One by one, they quietly slipped out and marched towards the west. By the time the sun rose and the sky turned blue, half of the Shao clan had already left. In the early morning, Xavier climbed on the top of a pavilion and looked over the entire courtyard. More and more of the remaining strong clan members gathered there. Most of them had their weapons unsheathed. Their hands were wrapped tightly around their swords and spears. They all knew what they were about to do. A dangerous spark lit up in Xavier's eyes. His mouth turned briefly into a menacing smile. I see everyone is prepared for our mission today. I am happy to see that. Today we will destroy the remaining strength of Fang and Shao's clans. They will regret messing with us. During the past few days, they have killed several of our family members. They have wounded our friends. They tried to destroy our home, but we will make them pay. We will make sure they will never dare to even look at us again.